So a lot of people have been asking me what I think about this whole situation with CM Punk and the WWE and leaving the WWE. For those who don't know, I have been a wrestling fan since I was like 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old. So I've always, at first I didn't know everything was, storyline based, and I didn't know that it was sports entertainment. But I started realizing that, a lot of it is staged. I backyard wrestle myself. But one thing that kind of gets to me is when something like this would happen, and the story behind it, and things that would lead up to something like this. All right. In case you don't know what I'm talking about, yesterday morning, I think it was, WrestleZone or something like that posted that CM Punk had walked out on the WWE. He said to Vince he was going to take the ball and go home. And he was taken off of the SmackDown show, the taping of the SmackDown show. He was taken off of all of the other live events that were going on and pretty much quit. Now, apparently, from what I understand, CM Punk was supposed to have a match with Triple H at WrestleMania. Now, I don't know if this is like a build-up to it or something, because he was supposed to have a segment on SmackDown with Kane involving the Royal Rumble and all that stuff. But backstage rumor, and I'm only saying it's rumor, backstage rumor did say that he had been very, very fed up lately with how everything was going, and the Authority and the WWE creative and Vince himself, and just the way that things have been going. One big thing that he did mention was he hates when part-timers come back and just pretty much get handed everything and walk away and not come back again, like Dwayne's been doing for the past couple of years. When The Rock was the host of WrestleMania 27, I didn't mind. I was actually still a Rock fan at that point. I was like, yeah, good to see The Rock, good to see that he still cares about wrestling. And then he cut this huge promo when he comes back saying he's not going anywhere and he's not going to leave. And then he leaves again. And I really didn't expect it. Because I wasn't... I didn't watch wrestling back in the Ruthless Aggression era. Back, when Cena was still the gangster guy, when he went over to Raw, when Bischoff was in charge of Raw, all that stuff. I wasn't watching it then. I was only watching SmackDown on and off. I really didn't get big into the wrestling until around the time when Benoit died. That's when I started watching it every week, because the Benoit case really, captured my interest. But I had known that The Rock was out because he was making movies and he was doing really good in the movies, and when he came back with WWE to host WrestleMania, I was like, oh, wow, this is great. Well, you see, then he came back and he faced Cena at WrestleMania 28. And he came back for like a couple of episodes on and off and stuff. And I was like, alright, yeah, this is good and everything. But it was the match that was against Cena at Mania 28, which made me realize this guy is absolutely worthless to the company. He should stop coming back and just go away because he's better at movies. Because that match sucked. That match is actually what made me a Cena fan. And yes, I will admit it, I am a John Cena fan. Come at me. It's not that I like his character. I like what he does outside of the ring and all of that stuff. I will always be a Chris Jericho fan no matter what, but I am a John Cena fan. But John Cena and The Rock at 28 was really a bad match, and for a year of hype, and with The Rock, barely promoting it outside of the WWE and coming back maybe, I think it was 3 times. Aside from Survivor Series, because that was actually a good match. That's when I was still rooting for The Rock and everything. But aside from Survivor Series, him coming back like twice, it just sucked, And I was really mad, and I lost a lot of respect for The Rock as a wrestler. Because I knew his heart wasn't in it. He was just back to promote movies. Same thing with 29. I'm getting way off topic. Either way, you know, Rock came back, won the WWE Championship from CM Punk, and I know he was very pissed off about that because, well, guys, let's face it, all right? Punk might not have been the best character, but he held the belt for 434 days, okay? That's the longest in the past 25 years, and that's not defending it once a month like people like Bruno Sammartino or Bob Backlund or Billy Graham did. You know, this is night after night after night after night. Because in case you guys don't know, when they do house shows and when they're not on the air, they're defending the titles. And when they go off the air at a Raw event or a SmackDown event, they're defending the titles. It's called dark matches. And, you know, I mean, everybody knows who's going to win because they're not going to change hands, you know, at a dark match or at a house show or anything like that, but it happens. But CM Punk defended that belt for 434 days, and he was hurt, all right? WrestleMania 29, when he faced The Undertaker, he blew out his knee. And WWE pretty much, they gave him his break and everything, but it's just the fact that, you know, you got to wonder how hurt he was before that. WrestleMania 28, he defended against Jericho. That was a pretty grueling match, I will admit it. I liked the match, don't get me wrong. I didn't know who to choose because I like Jericho and I like Punk, but, you know, he was hurt and he had been hurting. And for a guy who doesn't take any prescription drugs or anything like that, you know, headaches get to you. And I don't take prescription drugs either, so I would know. But, you know, for somebody like The Rock to just be able to, like, come in off of a handshake contract pretty much and take the belt from him is ridiculous. And that's where I think he started to get pissed off. And now Batista comes back and wins the Royal Rumble. Well, Punk had been thrown from the top of the world to the mid-cards to barely being promoted. And it's not just him. I mean, it's Daniel Bryan. They're screwing Daniel Bryan on a daily basis. And I'm not even talking about storyline-wise. I'm talking, like, in general. They know he's the face of the company. They're not doing anything with him. Cena and Orton have had the belts on and off, I think, a combined, like, 6 times in the past year, you know? Bryan held it twice for a maximum of 2 minutes. It's just, and Punk, ever since he lost the belt, hasn't been able to go and get it since, you know? And he's been given horrible storylines and stuff, so I can understand why he's pissed, but I guess it got to the point where he just got so fed up with the way things are going, and because the fans are obviously catching on that it's bullshit, and, you know, wrestlers aren't being treated right, that he quit. And I don't blame him. I mean, if it's a work, they're doing a really good job at it, because I think the last time this happened was Stone Cold Steve Austin, where he just walked out and went to WCW. But the thing is, there's no WCW anymore. Now there's TNA and ROH, and I don't know if OVW turned into FCW, which is now NXT, but it's still. There's still the indie leagues, which we all know CM Punk was like a god in. Will he go to TNA? I don't know. I really doubt it, but at the same time, there are some fantasy matches that we know we will never see if he doesn't go. Punk versus Aries, Punk versus Bobby Roode, Punk versus Kurt Angle. Hell, even Punk versus Samoa Joe. I mean, that would be a good match. You know, there's a lot of technical wrestlers there that they are really good, and I will admit, I really like them. I'm not a TNA watcher avidly, but I like the wrestlers in TNA. Austin Aries is my favorite in TNA. But CM Punk was one of my favorites in WWE, and the thing is, knowing his attitude and everything, and knowing the way that he talks about the WWE outside of the ring and stuff, I don't know why this wouldn't be a real thing. Only because it's happened before with top superstars. So, really to conclude this, because I don't want to take too much of your time up, no, I do not think it was a work. If it is, they're doing a really, really bad job pushing him, because they should have done it, or at least they should have started doing it 6 months ago. And if it's real, then I don't blame him, because I would have walked out too, you know. If I'm not getting a push after I'm working my ass off every single day. I mean, Cena, I can understand. Cena does a hell of a lot for that business, but Batista starred in 2 movies and got his ass kicked in MMA and never came back. And The Rock is just a has-been who needs to stay out of the ring. And no, I'm not endorsing a Stone Cold return because I know he won't do it. But if Punk really quit, I don't blame him. I really don't. So that's my opinion on it. That's my second blog. Take a look at my YouTube or my other videos. Go up here and subscribe to my channel. Check out my magic videos too. All right, and share this with your friends. This is actually the first video that is not a magic video. So, thanks.